Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time, as well as some modern releases I have recently finished. Today I want to go over every single mainline Mario game and rank them. I'm not going to be doing anything spin-off related, so no Mario Kart, no sports games. I'm also not going to be doing anything like Mario is Missing on the Super Nintendo, any of the weird titles like that. Those will not be covered. Same thing with things like Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2, which is not a Mario game, it's a Yoshi game. Same thing with Mario Land 3, which is a Wario game. So I'll only be doing the mainline Mario entries. If you think I missed any, let me know in the comments down below, but I've got all 22 of the mainline Mario games here. Let's start off with number 22, which is going to be New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS. I just really did not enjoy the gimmick of this game. I don't like the idea of collecting 1,000,000 coins because it takes forever. It really is such a chore. Despite all the power-ups, the really interesting power-ups that give you like more coins, turn enemies into coins, they can do a lot of really cool things. I like the gold power-ups that you have in this game. And I think the platforming is pretty good for the most part, especially in the DLC, the challenge packs and everything. But this is definitely the weakest one for me. This is at the point where the New Super Mario moniker was already getting pretty stale. And to have a gimmick where you are forced to get 1,000,000 coins to fully beat the game was just not my cup of tea. So this one sits at the bottom for me very comfortably. Next on the list, number 21 is going to be Super Mario Run for the phone. I actually really enjoyed this one. I bought it on my iPhone forever ago. I got the free version first, played it for a while, and decided, yeah, I really like it. And it went on sale. I think I got it for $5, and I really enjoyed everything that it had to offer. It's not the longest game, it's not the most substantial thing, but for their first attempt at putting Mario on the phone, it's pretty cool. It actually works really well. A platformer that is an auto runner is not a terrible mix, and Nintendo did a great job with it. So I think for what it is, it's actually a great experience. It's just not the beefiest Mario title for sure. Next on my list, number 20 is going to be the Lost Levels, or the original Super Mario Bros. 2 that was released in Japan. They decided it was too hard for America, so they didn't release it here. Absolutely, it's too hard. It's way too hard. This is the last Mario game I finally finished. I beat it on the Mario Game & Watch, and oh my goodness, it's so ridiculously difficult. Even with warps, this game is ridiculously hard. And I love how they control you with the original game and how the warp system works for that. Nintendo decided to troll you by, if you try doing the exact same method, it actually sends you backwards. Pretty funny. You have to know the right method to get the right warps. But I did the entire game also from start to finish, beating every single level, and it is ridiculously hard. Thank goodness for like the saving system that gets you back to the beginning of a world if you die and lose all your lives, because you are absolutely going to lose all your lives. Best to do like a infinite lives trick with the shell jumping. I didn't know how to do that, so I didn't attempt it. I wanted to do it just straight up. If you're going to try and experience everything this game has to offer, it is chock full of difficulty. The bosses are really like the castles are really difficult. Some of them are pretty crazy with how you have to do a certain sequence through like different levels on the floor that you have to do to be able to progress, otherwise it loops. It just makes it pretty difficult to go through. I'm an experienced platformer and I had a really tough time beating this game. So I really like what they did. It's still tight. It's a great successor to Mario Bros. But man, if it isn't super, super difficult. Next on my list, number 19 is going to be New Super Mario Bros. U. I'll treat the deluxe version or the Wii U version with Luigi U as the same thing here. I think this game is fun and it's fine. I did everything that you can do in this game. It's one of the easiest Mario titles I've ever finished, and it is the most stale in the New Super Mario Bros. Formula. Whereas New Super Mario Bros. 2 had at least a gimmick with the golden coins, this one just felt like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but with an acorn power-up. Again, it's still good. The level design is pretty great. I really like Luigi U. That's what kind of brings it up a little bit. I really like the challenge levels in that, and I love Luigi, so I really enjoy playing as him, and I just thought it was a really nice addition to the main game, but man, is it a bit stale. I don't love going back to play this one. I don't have any drive to go back and play the New Super Mario Bros. Games pretty much at all. This one especially. This one feels like where we really needed a new style moving forward. Next on my list, number 18 is going to be 3D Land on the 3DS. I actually really like this game. It's very cool. It's one of the best uses of the 3D feature on the 3DS. It was one of the few games that I played with 3D on the entire time because it utilizes it so well. I really enjoy what they did with it. It's not the hardest game, but it is very cool what they were able to do with the hardware on the 3DS for it being such an underpowered console. This game looks and plays amazingly well. Making 3D Mario on the go was a really phenomenal thing that they were able to accomplish. Also has a ton of bonus content. Once you finish the main worlds, you actually have a bunch of bonus worlds, not just one bonus world, but a bunch, and a ton more content. It's pretty fun. Again, not one I really want to go back and play per se, but it is a lot of fun overall, and I had a good time with it. Next on my list, number 17, is going to be Mario Land on the Game Boy. This one was really cool. More of a proof of concept that 2D Mario could work on a Game Boy, and it plays really well. It's one of the most bizarre entries. It has weird power-ups. The sprite work is very like crunched, and Mario's really tiny, but it's a really fun game to play. I liked going back and playing it fairly recently, and I had a good time. I really like what they went for. I think this was more of a proof of concept so they could innovate for the newest one, Mario Land 2, that was going to be coming out. But I really like what they did with this one. Number 16 is going to be New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Now, this was kind of an iteration on New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. It almost feels like the same game in a lot of ways, but this time with multiplayer, which is the most fun you can have with a Mario game, almost for sure. This game was hilarious for messing with your friends, throwing them into pits, jumping off their heads, and making them fall into a pit and an enemy. Stuff like that makes this game really fun as a multiplayer game, but as its own experience, if you're just playing by yourself, it's okay. It's better than New Super Mario Bros. U because it hadn't really gotten stale yet. But even at this point, this was like the second game in the new Soup franchise that they were doing, and it already felt a bit stale because it was too similar to the one on the DS. But I really enjoyed the multiplayer outing. I played it with my sister and her family. It's a lot of fun for that reason alone. Next on my list, number 15 is going to be Mario Sunshine. This is my least favorite 3D game outside of 3D Land, just because I don't love the flood mechanic. It's not my favorite. I think it turns precision Mario platforming into something that's too gimmicky and too weird to mess with. I didn't like how Flood operated. I don't like a lot of how the gameplay mechanics work together. I don't think the bosses are particularly interesting most of the time, but I love the setting of Sunshine. I love the villain. I love Bowser Jr. and how they did him, and Shadow Mario is really cool. I love that they've implemented that in future games. I think the storyline with Mario going to prison is hilarious. I like what they did with this game in almost every respect, but the way it mechanically works is not my favorite, and that was a big ding for me, so I just couldn't bring it any higher on my list. Even trying to replay it on the Switch, just didn't have the best time with it. I don't know. I don't think the Flood's the best mechanic, so it's going to sit right here. Next on my list, number 14 is going to be Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. Now, I really enjoyed this one a lot more. I think this one looks much better. They made Mario look more like his Super Mario World counterpart. He looks and plays better. It's definitely a significant jump from Mario Land to Mario Land 2. And I like what they did with this one. I like the storyline. I love the worlds. I like that they're wacky and different than anything you'd see on the console. I really like what they did with Mario Land 2, especially as a step up from Mario Land 1. Next on my list, number 13 is going to be New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. Seems like they're every other one at this point. But I really liked this game. I still really like this game to this day. It gave us new power-ups like the Mega Mushroom, gave us the blue shell where you can run along the tiny mushroom to find secret areas. This was a great innovation at the time. And it's still really fun to go back and play today. It plays and looks exceptional on the Nintendo DS, which is a great feat because it's not a super high-powered console, but they made the game look phenomenal. It's got great level design, really great bosses, tons of secrets to find. I really, really enjoy New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. It's a shame that it got stale so quickly, but this was a great new step forward for the franchise. I'm just glad that they finally innovated with Mario Wonder. Next on my list, number 12 is going to be Mario 64. Now, I'm not a big fan of this one nearly as much as I used to be. I played this one back on the Nintendo 64. I played the DS version, the remake that they did for that. I really like what the game has to offer. It's super well designed. It has great movement. At the time when it launched, it had great camera controls. It had some of the best bosses in gaming. You had Mario going from 2D to 3D in such a marvelous and spectacular way. This game is still praised as one of the best games of all time to this day. But for me, going back and playing it, especially since the 3D All-Stars pack launched, it really feels dated. I try not to ding games for being dated because when they launch, they're so innovative and fantastic. But it's hard for me to play. I don't feel driven to fully complete this one, even though it is such a big iconic piece of gaming history. mostly because of things that just feel inconsistent, like the wing cap. The wing cap's so difficult to control. Some of the other things like the camera are hard to control because it was innovative at the time, but now camera controls have gotten so much better. I wish the Switch version had changed the camera controls to make them more modern. That would have been a huge thing. If nothing else, that should have been what they did with that. But I really love what they did with Mario 64. I love the level design especially. I think that some of the music is some of the best in gaming history, honestly. But it's hard to go back and play, so I'm going to leave it here on number 12. Number 11 is going to be 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I'll be including the Bowser's Fury addendum as well. 3D World is a really cool innovation on the 3D formula for Mario. It kind of combines 3D and 2D Mario into a beautiful, brilliant space. And I love the level design. The world designs are fantastic. The fact you can play as multiple characters, including Rosalina at this point, and they all have their unique gimmick. Very reminiscent of Mario 2. The Mario 2, not the original Mario 2, but Mario 2 we got in the West. Having them all have their own unique abilities and things. Peach can float. Luigi has his... he like glides more in the air. You've got Rosalina has a full double jump. I like what they did with this game a lot. And Bowser's Fury is super fun. It feels like a hybrid of Mario Odyssey and Mario Sunshine. Kind of the best of both worlds there. I really liked it. It's a nice bite-sized adventure. That's super enjoyable. I really liked fighting Bowser as Mega Mario Cat costume. I think it's really cool what they did with that. And I hope that going forward we have maybe some more bite-sized experiences like this to tide us over in between 3D Mario games, because it's been a long time since Odyssey, but this was a nice little refreshing addendum that we got added for the Switch version. So it's going to be sitting here at number 11. Number 10 is going to be the original Super Mario Brothers. I also recently finished this on the Mario Game & Watch. It was my first time playing through every level in the game. I'd beaten it before. This was my first time doing everything the game had to offer. And it's a ton of fun. It's not nearly as hard as future games, but you can tell how innovative it was for the time because it still holds up so well today. Mechanically, it's perfect. It's tight. It works exceptionally well. The level design is so iconic and it feels familiar even if you haven't played this game in such a long time or if it's your first time playing. It will feel like a lot of games that have come after it because of how well designed it was. The castles are great. I love everything about this game. It's not the biggest experience for sure. It's pretty short. Once I beat it the first time, I went back through and played it again and immediately beat it going all the way through. So it gets easier significantly after you've beaten it once, when you know what to expect. But it's so iconic for a reason. This is Mario's inception, and it's so good even to this day. Number 9 is going to be the original Mario Maker. Now, this one was such an iconic game for the Wii U. Is probably a reason that a lot of people bought the Wii U, myself included. I bought a secondhand one just so I could play Mario Maker because I had such a fun time playing it with my sister's house. I really enjoyed this game. Giving the tools to make your own levels is such a phenomenal idea, and I can't believe Nintendo actually did it. So many beautiful levels were made for this game. I love the amiibo costumes especially. The fact that those didn't return in Super Mario Maker 2 was a bummer for me, but being able to transform into tons of different amiibos with a power-up is so funny. I love the little sound effects that they had. I love also that they had so many levels uploaded. When they decided that they were going to be shutting down uploading levels, there was like, this is the cap. We have this many levels online. That's the rest we're going to have forever. Team 0%, you should check them out on YouTube and Twitter, wherever their social media channels. Check them out because they were dedicated to beating every single Mario Maker level that was ever released. And they did before the servers shut down back in April. They announced that they were shutting them down and people went really hard and beat every single level that was beatable. This included this excluded levels that were like tasks, botted ones that were made modded that are unbeatable unless you have a tool assisted run, or ones that got patched out, like had an exploit that got patched out and were unbeatable at this point. Really cool to see the community come together. In fact, the last level they found out was a task level, and they were like, okay, well, we actually finished every level now, and someone went out and still beat the level even though it was task levels of difficult, and beat it anyway and said, here we go, we actually finished the last level. Really cool to see the community come together and get behind a game that is so iconic. Right above that, number 8 is going to be Mario Maker 2. Everything I love about Mario Maker 1, minus the amiibo costumes, is present in Mario Maker 2 at a better degree as well. They added a new style with a 3D world, but keeping it in the 2D perspective, which is kind of cool. I can't believe they were able to pull that off. Cat costume works really well as a way to scale 2D platforming. I love what they did with innovating on new tools that you could use. New clear conditions is really fantastic, making you not take damage, get a certain amount of coins, all sorts of things that you can do to get the clear condition. I love everything that they did to innovate on Mario Maker 1 to make Mario Maker 2. Even the little campaign that they crafted is really nice and fun. I finished that one and had a great time. And there's just endless levels to play on that. It is such a phenomenal experience. You still have creators playing the game to this day because it has so many great experiences to have. Number 7 on my list is going to be Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now, this one, I think a lot of people would say that might even be better than the original Galaxy. For me, I liked the level design better in Galaxy 1. That's the biggest reason I put it above Galaxy 2. But honestly, in so many other ways, Galaxy 2 is a better experience. Like having the hub world better designed, so you're not like constantly going to different rooms to access and finally get into where you want to go. It takes a long time to get to each level in Mario Galaxy. They made that much better in Galaxy 2. You also have Yoshi making a return, which is really cool. In fact, in Galaxy 1 and 2, it's kind of nice. Galaxy 1, you get to play as Luigi if you beat the game all the way through. Galaxy 2 has Yoshi as a readable character in 3D, which is fantastic. In Mario 64, people wanted both of those things. It's nice to see them like pay homage to that and give you both of those in Mario Galaxy. But Galaxy 2 is a phenomenal game. So much fun. I love the Galaxy theme, so the fact that they made a sequel to it is fantastic. I wish they had ported it over to the Switch because I want to experience it again. It's been a long time since I played Galaxy 2. Maybe it would improve my opinion of it. But for right now, it's going to sit here at number 7. Number 6 is going to be Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I have been waiting for a game like Wonder to come out for a very long time. The fact that it's this high on my list and being so recent is a testament to how good it is and how good it feels to play. I don't want it to be pure recency bias putting it so high, which is why it's not even higher. Because in my opinion, this is the best 2D Mario game since Super Mario World. And putting that much stock into a game that's brand new, I want to make sure I give it some time to marinate, go back and play it again to see if I still have that opinion. But all of the things that they did to make it stand out from the new Super Mario Bros. Games and make it so much different is phenomenal. You can float with your cap. You have all these badges that change the way you play the game. You have so many characters. Several of the characters are no-die characters, which is really cool. Yoshi and Nabbit specifically. So you can play it really casual mode like that if you have kids that want to play the game. I love Mario Wonder. It is oozing with charm. The wonder effects and the fact that there are so many of them that you never know what's going to happen is brilliant. I truly think this is stylistically and mechanically, this is the best thing that they've done with Mario in a very, very long time. Next on my list is going to be, number 5 is going to be Super Mario Bros. 2. This is the Western release that we got. This is technically a reskin of another game, but this is also where they differentiated the Mario characters in their own ways. Mario and Luigi are much different. Luigi is slipperier, but also jumps higher, and kind of has that little flutter kick that he does. Princess Peach has a glide. Toad is really fast. I like that they made the characters so different, and I like how they fit into this weird world that they weren't really meant to be in initially. I love that the bosses are wild and different. We got Birdo for the first time. I love the fact that you are picking up and throwing items instead of jumping on people's heads to damage them. I like that it's so unique and that brings so much attention to detail to each and every character. So I really like going back and playing this one. But above that, number 4 is going to be Super Mario Bros. 3. This game is just too iconic to put any lower than this. I really wanted to put as few like 2D Mario games together and 3D Mario games together. I wanted to like break them up, but I can't justify putting it any lower than number 4 because of how iconic it is. The Tanuki suit is probably the best power-up in all of the Mario games combined. I really think it's the best one. It's so iconic seeing him in the Tanuki suit on the cover of Mario 3. The level design is out of this world. Every world is so phenomenal. I love the board game style that it has. The mini games are super fun. The secret items you could get to skip worlds is brilliant. This is easily the best game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. I just really love Super Mario Bros. 3. Next on my list, though, number 3 is going to be Mario Galaxy. Talked about this a little bit in Galaxy 2. I love this game. It's between the music, the gameplay, the design itself, the level design, the innovation with like the motion controls. They really put out the best 3D Mario game that Mario had been in such a long time. Since Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, I don't think most people said it was a better game than 64. I think people fell off of that one much faster. But Mario Galaxy stands the test of time as like a pinnacle of 3D Mario gaming because it still plays so well to this day. It looks and plays phenomenally. The music is some of the best it's ever been in the Mario series, and Mario has incredible music across the board, but the space theme just works so well, and there's so much content. I immediately jumped back in and played this game when I got on the Switch and played through it again with Luigi because I was just having too much fun. I love Mario Galaxy. It is only topped by my number 2 entry, which is going to be Mario Odyssey. I don't know what to say about Mario Odyssey. It's like the perfect 3D Mario game. The worlds are varied and unique. There's so many moons to collect. They're so wild in how you collect some of them. I like that it doesn't take you out of the level. You just get the moon and you can keep progressing throughout the world. The capping mechanic is crazy for movement, for exploration, and for the possession mechanic where you get to play as various different things. It's so brilliant what they were able to do with Mario Odyssey. I don't even know how they came up with a concept for it. But the fact that they made this game so enormous with so many varied and interesting worlds, none of them are duds. It is so fun to explore every single world. They even made water exploration a fun time because you can possess Cheeps and swim around with them. It's just a brilliant time. I love everything about Mario Odyssey. I kind of hope we get a sequel to it, but I also trust Nintendo to innovate, and if they've got a new idea, I'm fine with that too, because Odyssey was so phenomenal. The boss fights, the combat, the mechanics, everything just is perfect from start to finish. But my number 1 favorite Mario game is Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. This is pure craftsmanship at its very best in the Nintendo space, in the gaming space. This is so good. Everything about this game is perfect from start to finish. You have Yoshi making his first appearance, I believe, in all of the Mario franchise and being able to be writable. You have secrets for days. You have getting 100% completion on this game is super hard because there's so many secrets, so many things to explore. You have a beautiful overworld with tons of unique and varied levels. You have tons of new mechanics that are unique to this game alone, including power-ups like the cape that I really wish would come back. You have great boss design that innovates on previous games in a major way, a new style that is still iconic to this day and one of the most used styles in Mario Maker in both titles. Mechanically, it's just perfect. It plays so beautifully. Every subsequent playthrough I make of this game, I just have the best time. And I feel like I discover things that I'm sure I played before, but it feels new and fresh to me. That's why this game is so special to me and why it's my favorite Mario game, because it feels evergreen. No matter how many times I go back to it, I always have a phenomenal experience. That's going to be my list. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Mario games, maybe your top 5 are. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.